Welcome back to Hey Kentucky. We have the privilege of being joined by Kentucky's Attorney General, Daniel Cameron. I haven't seen you since the election. Congratulations.
Well, thank you, Mary Jo. I really appreciate being back on the show, and it's an honor to be here, and obviously an honor to be the 51st Attorney General of the Commonwealth of Kentucky.
How has it been going so far?
It's been good. We've got a good team assembled around me, and got a great Deputy Attorney General, Barry Dunn, and a strong leader in our criminal division, Amy Burke. Our civil division is headed up by Vic Maddox. All of these folks are really well-respected attorneys here in the Commonwealth, and so I was fortunate to bring them in. I've got a great Solicitor General, Chad Meredith, and a Deputy Solicitor General, Matt Kuhn. Again, really strong talent throughout the office. So fortunate to have these people come in and defend our laws here in the Commonwealth and look out for Kentuckians on a whole range of topics, and so it's been a great honor to serve in this capacity.
Takes a village, huh?
Amen. That's exactly right. Yeah, and look, you don't win elections in vacuums, and you know to be successful in improving the public safety here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, you don't do that in a vacuum. You don't do it in a silo. And one of the things that very early on I've tried to articulate and try to make sure that people are aware of is the fact that in the Attorney General's office we need to do a fantastic job of working closely with our state and federal law enforcement community to confront the public safety challenges that we have here. And so very early on I sat down with the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Kentucky, Rob Duncan, who's a dear friend of mine. I've sat down with the U.S. Attorney for the Western District, Russell Coleman, again another good friend of mine, in talking about ways, again, as a broader law enforcement community that we can confront the challenges that we have here in Kentucky as it relates to the drug epidemic and so many other things.
I want to ask you about a couple buzzwords, sanctuary cities, and I want to ask you both about what it means as far as gun ownership and immigration, because those are two things that I think have been talked about in the state and even gaining some momentum truly throughout the state.
So you bring up Sanctuary City SB 1, Senate Bill 1, and that is a bill in my judgment that is by and large about what we are saying as representatives of the law enforcement community. So I believe strongly that as the Chief Law Enforcement Officer here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, I need to be in the responsible position of telling not only our state law enforcement community, not only our state law enforcement partners, but also our federal law enforcement community, that we are going to be a strong partner and a productive partner in confronting the public safety challenges that we have here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. So when I look at SB 1, from my point of view, what it makes clear and really reaffirms is our commitment as a law enforcement community to collaborate closely, to share intel with all of law enforcement, and I think that's the responsible position to be in, especially as I take on the mantle as the Chief Law Enforcement Officer here in Kentucky. As it relates to the sanctuary, really what I would call standing up for the Second Amendment, I am watching very closely as different counties take on the question of reaffirming their commitment to and demonstrating their value set as it relates to our Second Amendment. And I don't see anything wrong with that. I've again looked closely as an AG's office at our responsibility to protect and defend the Second Amendment, and I think by and large what you're seeing in these communities is a groundswell of support for our Second Amendment rights here, not only in Kentucky but across the country.
You were part of a group of around 20 attorneys general who kind of got together saying, the impeachment of President Trump should go no further. Are you still kind of in that group? Has anything that you've seen over the last few days, and I know that you're probably not watching it, you have other things to do than go gavel to gavel watching all the coverage, but has anything swayed your opinion on that or changed your mind?
Well, look, when I talk to Kentuckians, and I've had the opportunity to travel the Commonwealth pretty regularly, they by and large are pleased with the President's efforts to work for working families, to work for everyday Kentuckians. And so we, have an opportunity here as the election in November to make an assessment on that. I think by and large Kentuckians again are appreciative of the efforts that have been undertaken by the President and the White House. I'll leave it to the Senate to make their own judgment. I've obviously made my statement as it relates to the process itself, but I think by and large Kentuckians are generally pleased with the way that the President has worked tirelessly for folks that, I often talk about the pulse of the Commonwealth being, outside when you step out in eastern Kentucky or you step into West Kentucky, and you run into so many people who are appreciative of the efforts he's undertaken on their behalf.
Daniel Cameron, thank you so much. I know there's lots of work ahead for you in the coming years ahead, but we appreciate you taking some time with us today.
Of course, happy to.
More Hey Kentucky right after this.